Yo, y'all ever just want to be alone all the time? Like, you just want to be left alone? It's weird because it's like a combination of wanting to be left alone, but also like, dang, you don't want to be alone all the time. Like, I want somebody to be like, I want to be connected with people for like 37 minutes, right? Not a full hour, not too much more than a half an hour. Probably like 37 minutes is like the perfect amount of time, you feel me? Cuz once you reach a half an hour, then you kind of like checking your time like, okay, this is too much. And you don't want to get to 40 minutes, so you stop it at 37 and you're like, "Yo, I got to dip. I'm not going to hold you. I love that you came through. We had like a dope conversation, you feel me? We was vibing, we was laughing, whatever the case may be. Now I can dip. Now I gotta get out of here. You feel what I'm saying? No, I'm trolling, but like, I mean, mine started when I was younger. You feel what I'm saying? When I was younger, I was always by myself. I was always isolated. So, um, then I went through this period as I got older where I started going outside and I started to rock with people. I'm hanging out in the neighborhood, going to high school, um, sometimes hanging out with family members or whatever the case may be. And I would get drained real fast and it would lead me back to my isolation. When I hung out with my friends, I would get drained. One time I cut my friends off for 9 months and then I just, they ain't hear from me in 9 months. I was not on social media. I was 19 at this time, so I wasn't a kid, but I was not on social media. I was not texting nobody. I literally told him I need distance or whatever the case may be. Literally 9 months from like the beginning of the year to around my birthday, October-ish. And the only reason why I locked back in with them is because they came knocking on my door. You feel what I'm saying? I was going to work, getting money, saving money, going back in my basement, making music. I wasn't making videos at that time, but I was making music. I had made a mixtape called Nothing But Business. I was playing 2K, and I would just go to work, save money, go home, go in the basement, play the game, create my music, and just be by myself for real, for real. Like I didn't want to be around nobody. Um, but then I started going back outside. But the one thing that I noticed is that when I started to go outside, is that I would be drained. Like, so even if I wasn't like cutting people off for extended periods of time, I still would get frustrated. And mind you, I could be around people and we just busting it up and having fun. It's not that they were doing certain things to me per se. It was just being around their energy. And I'm an over observant person, so I pay attention to everything. I pay attention to when somebody talking a certain way and then they switch up when another person come around. I pay attention to if this guy's here with his girl and then his girl is flirting with the guy that's supposed to be his homie. Like I'm analyzing every situation, so I would get overstimulated, so they say nowadays, right? It would stress me out because I'm paying attention to everything. Sometimes I'll be quiet, you know what I'm saying? I'll be quiet, you can hear the crickets because I'm really just analyzing every. Yo, shout out to my barber too. Look at, he did his thing, he gave me my fade. You see how it, you know what I mean? And I'm all lined up, I'm sharp. Whew. You know what I mean? Shout out to my barber. I don't even know his name, but shout out to him. He's a Dominican. Every time I have a Dominican barber, they sharp. Shout out to all the Dominicans, you feel what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, they be doing their thing for real. But yeah, so yeah, nowadays I just love being alone. And it's like it's half and half. I'm gonna explain how it feels to go on a healing journey, going into isolation, and how it feels reintegrating back into life after a healing journey and after going into isolation, right? So when you go into isolation, you separate from people. That and also that's the difference between my isolation nowadays and back then. Back then, it would just be too much noise. I'm observing too many different things, and I would remove myself for a certain amount of time for me to recharge. I didn't really understand why I was being drained during those times, right? Bang, so I would remove myself. That was the difference back then when I was younger, right? Now I'm more self-aware, so I know why I'm distancing myself. You feel me? Because I notice high-level manipulators. I notice energy drainers. I notice that me myself, I got to take accountability for that. That I was surrounding myself around people that would kind of smile in my face, and then I realized after a while, oh, they don't really respect me. They don't really rock with me. They don't really like me like I thought they did. You feel what I'm saying? So that's something I gotta take accountability for as well. That's another reason why I would go into isolation, because I was putting myself around these energy drainers. What's up with the lighting? That was really frustrating me. You feel what I'm saying? So this time, this isolation is different because it's a isolation where I'm working on myself and I'm changing my perspective. Now I went too far in my healing journey. Not too far, but it gets to a point in your healing journey where it's like, all right, dog, like you've been healing and working on yourself and learning and learning and learning to the point where you don't want that to become your personality. Now I'm going to grow and change for the rest of my life because that's just my part of who I am. But you don't go into isolation to stay in isolation. You don't go into isolation to make personal development your personality. So that's when it gets too far, right? You get on that realm so you can see things differently and notice that this isolation is different. And when you come out of this isolation, you want to have the tools in order to not be drained, in order to be equipped to deal with life in a different way. But you don't want to stay in there. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm a loner, but like, I don't want to live in isolation, right? I want to recognize why I always feel like I need to isolate. And when I go to recharge, I'll have tools to recharge and also have tools to reconnect with people. But when you go into this specific isolation that's different than the one before, where you're working on yourself and you really understanding life in general, when you come out, you're going to come across 3 different type of people, right? This off the top of my head. I'm going to make it up. The first type of person is the unhealed person that you like, all right, you got to go about your business because I've already surrounded myself around you and you got so many problems that I can't lean forward, because if I lean forward and you move out the way, I'm going to fall on my face. I can't overextend myself for you. I can't be codependent for you. You got to go over there. You feel what I'm saying? Those are the people you are around for the most part for a long time. Bang. That's the first step. Then you got people that's like half and half, to where they've done a little work, you feel me? They've gotten a little better based off of how they was when they was younger, whether it's trauma or whatever, but they still on the fence. And these are the type of people that you connect with, but you know, certain things you like, oh yeah, you get what I'm saying, or, oh yeah, you might have done some work, but then you get the little passive aggressive comments, you get the, oh, here he go, you get the oh, everything don't gotta be da 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 X, Y, and Z, and where they scrutinizing your healthy way of moving now, although they do have some healthy qualities, or although they do understand what you're saying in certain instances. So you got the people that's super like stuck in their ways, then you got the people that's kind of on the fence, you feel me? And then on this side, which is very, not rare, but it's less likely, you have especially people around your age, right? Because I connect with a lot of people of all ages nowadays. But these people are the people that have done the work and know they're not perfect. And yes, they've been through things and stuff like that, to where they may be triggered and stuff, because they're not perfect. Nobody is. Even I get triggered sometimes and stuff. But they're not about to scrutinize you for moving in more of a healthy way. They're able to take accountability. They're able to have conversations with you. They're able to separate when they need to. And you just got to recognize who you're dealing with in general. The people down here, you got to remove yourself. Sorry, you surpassed that point. You feel me? People in the middle, they dangerous, because some of them carry high levels of jealousy, envy, which is a dangerous way of moving. You know what I'm saying? And anything can happen. Where I'm from, people get unalived for dealing with people that they shouldn't. So I don't know where y'all from, where y'all might just think, oh, so-and-so got some problems. Where I'm from, you play around with that. You play around with that jealousy, that envy, that people smiling in your face and judging you and saying, oh yeah, you trying to act all X, Y, and Z. You end up in a box. You feel me? I got people from my family that hanging around the wrong people, or I used to hang around the wrong people, didn't get that far, but you know what I'm saying? Where I'm from, we don't play with that. So both sides you remove, the ones that didn't do the work and the ones that's on the fence, and then you try to align yourself with people who can communicate, can take accountability, who have worked on themselves. And if not, then it's cool being alone, like we talking about in here. Isolation is cool, you feel me? But yeah, so that's the difference. When I was younger, I was isolating because it was too much. There's too much going on. Blah blah blah. X, Y, and Z. Now, as I got older, I started to isolate because I had to work on myself in order to learn tools to recharge, but also have tools for when I go out into the world. And then you gotta be very subjective with who you align yourself with when you outside of your isolation or when you decide to connect with certain people. You feel what I'm saying? But I can't tell you how to do it. You already know my slogan. It's your boy Josh different. I'm different, you different, we different. Yo, shout out to my barber again. Looking smooth.